Ahoy, hoy, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The O Show. I'm O, and I'm here for your Omusement. And to start today's show, let me just say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Yay! And I want to welcome you all to my Mother's Day Spectacular! Now, today's movie review is about a sweet, sweet woman who would do anything to have a family, including lie and revenge and murder! I am talking about the hand that rocks the cradle, okay? From 1992. Yes, y'all. Can we talk about this movie? I just recently rewatched this movie. It was streaming on something, and they said it's going away soon. I was like, no, don't go away. Even though I own the movie, it's behind me somewhere. I forgot to pull it out. Now, the movie stars Rebecca De Mornay. What happened to Rebecca De Mornay? Is she still doing stuff? I think she is. I'm going to look that up. It also has Ernie Hudson. Okay, for you moms out there, let's look at Ernie Hudson for a little bit, okay? Because he still looks good. And the movie also stars Julianne Moore and some other people. I don't know who they are. But look, you guys, the movie's like really good. You know what? And as I said, this movie's from 1992. And I honestly do have to say, like, it still kind of holds up. There's a lot of movies where you look at it, you're like, okay, that's obviously from the 90s. Now, yes, this is a 90s movie, and Julianne Moore's outfits are screaming 90s. But the movie holds up pretty well, so I'm actually not mad at it. Alright, so let's talk about this. So the movie opens up on a beautiful morning. And we have the Bartells, Claire and Michael, and their young daughter, Emma. Oh my gosh, you guys, like, I forgot how cute this little girl is. I need to look her up, because I didn't prepare for this video, so. Is she still doing stuff? Like, I forgot her real name. I'm gonna look it up and see what else she's done. So they're just, getting ready for the day, and they get a visitor, and it is Ernie Hudson's character, and he is playing Solomon. Now, Solomon is a mentally disabled character. He works for this company who sends folks out to help people with things. So, in his case, he is being hired to build a fence around the Bartells' home. And then when he's done, whatever else needs to get done. Okay, so look, you guys, look. So Claire, the mom, right? She has an appointment with a new doctor. So Claire is pregnant. She's like 30-something weeks pregnant, I think. And she goes to this new doctor. And he's like, well, I'm going to do this, do that. And she's like, really? Like, I'm kind of far along. He's like, no, I just kind of want to learn my new patients in a way. So he's over here like doing a breast exam that made no sense, and then he went down there under the cloth, removed his gloves, and just had his way, right? So she is now sexually violated, and it's very important to remember that she has really bad asthma. So as she's leaving the doctor's office, she goes to a asthma attack, and goes home and tells her husband, like, this dude, like, fucking assaulted me. So she files a claim, and when she files a claim, turns out this guy has sexually abused, like, 4 or 5 other women. So all these other women start coming forward, and he's just, like, shit out of luck, right? And it's so bad that he pretty much takes the easy way out and shoots himself dead. So his wife, who's also currently pregnant at the time, she can't get no life insurance or anything, because if it's a suicide, you don't get nothing. So anyway, his funds are frozen, and she's fucked. And she ends up freaking out and collapsing and ends up miscarrying the child she was going to have. So, sad, sad, sad stuff, right? So now fast forward, Claire has her baby. And one random day, she ends up running into the widow. But now the widow is pretending to be a nanny named Peyton. Doesn't that just sound like an evil name, Peyton? Does anyone name their kid Peyton anymore? I think I always wondered about this movie. Like, okay, so Peyton, while she's in the hospital, she's looking at the news, and they have like Claire's picture just all on the news. But Claire never actually like sued the doctor like everyone else. Like, she reported it, but she never like pursued like legal action. She was just like, you know what, whatever. What's done is done, and he's not going to hurt anyone else after this. But those other women did. But it's so funny because, like, the news only names Claire, right? So now Peyton's all like, well, bitch, I'm going to fuck up your life. So I always just thought it was weird that she went for, like, that one lady. I was, you know, now as an adult, I would think that maybe something was happening to maybe one or two of the other women, and then she ended up going to Claire, then they kind of put stuff together. But anyway, that's, you know, I'm not going to touch the story. It's a good story. It's a good story. That's just me. That's just me. So, move on. So, like, y'all, like, day one, Peyton is a mess. She meets Solomon, and he gets, like, a stain on her sleeve. And, like, the look she gives this man, you think this would be, like, a horror movie. But, like, child, like, okay, Solomon, like, back up. Claire has these earrings, and I guess one of them is really loose, so it keeps falling out of her ear. And so later that night, it falls out again. And then Peyton's like, ooh, I'm going to set this scene up. So she picks it up off the floor, then pretends that she's taking it out of the baby's mouth. So everyone's like, oh my God, what happened? And she's like, oh, this is the baby I was small with this earring. So that Claire looks bad, and she looks all heroic, like, mm-hmm. But then what's so crazy, like, she ends up moving in. So she has like this room in the basement of the house. And one night she goes to the baby's room, right? And she starts to breastfeed the baby. Mm-hmm. So then later on, when Claire is trying to feed the baby, she's like, how come the baby's not taking any of my milk? Mm-hmm. There's a scene where Peyton is bonding with the young daughter, Emma. And she's all like, ooh, we're going to have secrets, and we're going to be like secret buddies and what have you. And so Emma tells her about this boy who's picking on her at school. So Peyton like is like walking the baby around town and ends up at the school, and she's like, which one is he? And she's like, that one over there being an asshole to the other kid. And so Peyton goes over there and grabs this little boy and takes him around on the side of the building and like fucking like breaks his arm and just threatening him, and like the other kids are watching. But even when I first saw this movie back in the 90s, like, where, okay, the 90s was like, just, I remember like in 5th grade when I was at recess, there were no teachers around. I had teachers from like kindergarten, not even if we went outside kindergarten, I don't remember, like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, like we had some recess, and like there was a teacher around. But like 5th and up, like there's no teachers around. But in this school with this grade of kids outside, there's no teacher around because no one's like, excuse me, ma'am, and like no one's going, oh my God, go tell Mrs. I don't know, Johnson or what have you. So Peyton is just like beating the shit out of this kid. Well, she's not beating him, but you know, she's doing enough. She's hurting him to get her point across. So I always just thought that was funny. And then she just kind of like dropped him on the floor, walked away, took the baby, just left the playground. So I just thought that was a funny scene. Side note, speaking of teachers around, so like I remember like in the 3rd, 4th grade, we learned to not talk to strangers. Like that didn't work on me. So there was this man walking with an iguana on his shoulder, right? And all us kids ran to this fence like, oh my God, he has an iguana. And then this one boy like ran to our teacher and was like, look, Miss So-and-so, look at all these kids. And she was like, what they doing? Oh, they talked to that man with the iguana. And she's like, what? And so she took all her names. She called all of our parents. And then we all got in trouble when we got home. Okay, I'm sorry. I got sidetracked. That story like popped into my head. Okay, so then next we have this scene where like Peyton is in this greenhouse place that Claire like volunteers at and stuff. Oh, and so side note too, Claire is building like a mini greenhouse in her yard in the house. Or outside the house. But she goes to like this big greenhouse and does stuff. So keep that in mind. Okay, so she has like this proposal that her husband needs her to mail for him for this like position at his job, and Peyton sees it and like takes it, right? But then she has like this fit in the bathroom. She goes into the stall and just goes fucking crazy. R.I.P. the plunger. Like, what did this plunger do to her? So this is just like a scene so you can just see like her anger and madness. Like, the bitch is crazy, okay? What happened? Is Peyton here? Oh, she's not here? Oh, Fifi just saying hi. I think she's traumatized from the movie. Okay, so look, you guys. So, okay, look, so one afternoon, Peyton is breastfeeding the baby again! Oh! And Solomon is like painting something. So he's up on this ladder, and he just so happens to get to the window and looks in and sees Peyton like breastfeeding the baby. Y'all, she looked and freaked this man out, and he was like, holy shit. So this thing, you know, she's downstairs outside and starts threatening him, right? Calling him a retard and everything, right? Ooh. So then Peyton was like, I'll fix you. So she sets him up, right? So she gets a pair of Emma's panties, and he has like this work cabinet thing that's attached to his bike. And the family just bought him a new bike. They're like, you know, we love you, Solomon. And he's like, oh my God, like, you got all of my friends. So anyway, stupid Peyton is like, oh, I need some batteries. Do you think Solomon might have some? Mm-hmm. So Claire goes out there like, let me see if he has some batteries out here, and finds a pair of Emma's panties, and now he has to go. They like kick him out. And I hate movies where they could have just been like, look, let me tell you what happened, but he just stands there, but I get it. Like, he, you know, who's gonna believe him? So so he can do nothing but stand there as, you know, Peyton's over there giving him the side eye like, see, I told you, bitch, let me get you. Ooh. So, like, so poor Solomon gets, like, fired and sent back to his company. But he does end up going to, like, another family later, but we will get back to Mr. Solomon, right? So, Julianne Moore's character, what the hell is her name? I don't remember her name. But she falls victim to Peyton X. So, what happened was, Peyton tells Michael that they should have a surprise party for Claire. So Michael and Julianne Moore are now meeting in secret to go over this party, right? But now Peyton has put into Claire's head that they're having an affair. Now, Michael and Julianne Moore dated a long time ago. So, you know, but yes, it's now in Claire's head like, ooh, what are they doing? What are they doing? Where were you? I called your job and you weren't there. Like that whole storyline. And so she comes home one day and she's going crazy at Michael. And she's like, I know you're fucking Marlene. Oh, Marlene, that's her name. And she's like, you're fucking Marlene. And he's like, shh, shut up. And she's like, no, I'm not shut up. And it turns out that that was a surprise party. Like, they had her go out to somewhere, and she came back as, you know, to get her out of the house. So when she came back, everyone's in the living room over here and everything, including Marlene. Oh my God. All right, so one day Marlene is in the office, her office, and she gets she's like a realtor, and she gets a job listing and it's the house of the doctor who killed himself. So she's like, oh my god, we still need to sell this place. And she's looking at the building and she sees this wind chime. So earlier in the movie, Peyton gives Claire a wind chime. And Marlene's like, what's that awful noise? So she's like, I've seen that ugly wind chime before. So she's doing a little more digging. She goes to a library and looks at one of those, like, what's that thing that the newspaper articles are in? Do they even use that stuff anymore? Just be at the internet? I don't know. So she's looking at it, right? And then she notices in a picture of the doctor's article, she sees Peyton. And then she's like, you are the widow, pretending to be this bitch. So now she's like, I gotta tell Claire. So Peyton has already set up a trap in the little mini greenhouse, right, by the house. And she rigged it so that she opened up the sky window things at the top, and then she put a shovel underneath. So when someone comes in and hits the shovel, the wheel will spin and drop the glass really quick and shatter. Right? Crazy, right? So so Marlene comes in and she's like, I know who you are, bitch. Okay? Bitch. So, and then Peyton's like, oh my god, well, Claire's in the greenhouse. Even though I feel like the trap was for Claire. But anyway, she's like, oh, well, you know what? I got something for you. So, of course, Marlene storms into the greenhouse, hits the trap, and all the glass comes down and kills her. So, R.I.P. Marlene. Okay, now, right before the whole Marlene's incident, Peyton was going around the house grabbing all of Claire's inhalers, right? So remember, I was saying that Claire had this horrible asthma. So she took all the little sprayer thingies and she took all the spray out of them. Like she was poking holes, emptying them, putting them back, and letting them be like, nothing happened. So when Claire came home and found Marlene, she has an asthma attack and goes around the house trying to find her inhalers, which she does, but they're all empty. So she's like, what the fuck? And so she comes out of the house, but she collapses on the porch. So I'm like, oh no, the movie's over. But no. Who called the cops? Oh wait, no, it was Claire. So Claire's calling the cops when she finds Marlene, and she can't talk because she's having the asthma attack. So I guess the call was traced, so the cops knew where to come. And they find her in time. So she ends up going to the hospital and, so she can get better. So she didn't die. Okay. It's okay, you guys. When she gets out of the hospital, Claire comes home and she goes into the baby's room and she sees there's like this ugly, tacky, like turtle border going around the ceiling of the room. And she's like, what the hell is this? And then Michael's all like, oh, Peyton thought it would be a nice surprise. And she's like, ew, you could have asked me first. like, so ugly. So anyway, Claire starts putting like stuff together. So she goes to Marlene's office just to kind of backtrack and be like, what was she doing before she left? And then she sees the article, or not the article, the listing of the house belonging to the doctor. And so she goes, she kind of goes in, pretends, she wants to look around, she's interested. And she sees the wind chimes, and she goes to the nursery and sees that ugly, tacky turtle border thing. I don't know what it's called. And so she's like, oh. And so Claire comes home, and there goes Peyton. Oh, Claire, we were so worried about you. She was like, shut up, bitch! And she hits her, right? And Peyton goes flying across the table. Now, there's not a lot of bloopers that I found in this movie, but the one blooper that I remember, like, oh yeah, that's right. Because at one point, like, Peyton has all this blood, like, coming from her nose down to her lip. And then when she gets off the floor, there's no blood there. Like, the blood is gone. And then, like, in the next scene, like, it seems to be, like, a little more there. But, like, yeah. You could tell that scene was filmed, like, at different times. Okay, so look, right? Okay, look. So Claire's like, get the fuck out of my house, right? And Peyton's like, but she finally leaves. And she's like, well, give me your key too, bitch. And so she does. And so they're all going to go to a motel that night. But then Michael comes downstairs and hears some opera music playing in the basement. Now, throughout this whole movie, you always hear opera music, opera music, opera music, opera music, right? But then I learned, like, later, apparently the opera songs, well, they're all different, but I think the theme of them was supposed to be, like, someone lost a child, or someone is wanting a child, or there was, like, a child mix-up, or something awful with children. So technically, there is a theme with these opera songs through this movie, but I guess you have to know that to appreciate that. So that's a little fun fact for you all, okay? You heard it here first, maybe. I heard it from somewhere, but I don't know. So look, Michael goes downstairs. He's like, Peyton, and she's nowhere to be found. I'm looking over my shoulder like Peyton's there. So look. Peyton's in the house, right? Because of course she is. So Peyton hits him with a shovel, and he goes flying down the stairs. So now he's hurt. Great, he can't help. And Claire's like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" So Claire goes down, and Peyton tries to kill her ass. And Emma, who's hard-headed, but thank goodness she wasn't, because, or thank goodness she is, rather, because after being told to stay put, she comes out going, "Mommy." But it was just in time because, Peyton takes a swing and misses Claire. So anyway, now they're fighting, and unfortunately, Peyton hits Claire with a shovel, so she's down. So now she's like, let me go get Emma and the baby and get the bug out. So smart Emma takes the baby and moves into another room. Like, at one point, there's a little baby monitor going off in one room, and Peyton thinks the baby's in there, but it's not. Surprise! Surprise, surprise! So, we end up in the attic. And who's there to save the day? Solomon! So even though Solomon got his ass fired, there are scenes throughout the movie where he's kind of lurking and kind of watching and looking over the family, because, those are his friends, you guys. So, yes, Solomon is there, taking the kids out the window. Peyton's beating the shit out of him. But then Claire ends up making it upstairs. And then Claire fakes an asthma attack, right? So Claire's over here talking about some... Okay, that's not funny. But she's doing that, right? So Peyton's like, ha ha ha, bitch. And so she turns her back to starts beating on Solomon again. And then Claire attacks and pushes her ass out the window. And she falls on the fence that Solomon worked so hard on. But it saved the day in the end. And now Peyton is dead. That's the end of the movie, right? Yes, the movie's over. You know what's so typical about this movie? Like, I don't understand why cops are always called in these movies. Then all the action happens, and as soon as the bad guy is dead, that's when you hear, how were you like 10 minutes ago? I was getting my ass whooped. Ugh, cops and movies get on my nerves. I'm gonna write a movie where the cops show up and then they have to also fight the bad guy, because that never happens. Alright, you guys, so the movie's over, but I do have to say, like, this movie is still pretty good. Yeah, it was a good watch. It was a good watch. It brought back a lot of memories. I do miss some Rebecca De Mornay. she was in a lot of stuff back in the day. So you have to look up to see what she's done. Speaking of her, there's this one part in the movie where Michael is asleep in bed and he hears like some commotion coming from downstairs. So he goes into the kitchen and he sees Peyton picking, like, she's at the fridge and she dropped something, right? So when you look, it seems like she dropped the ice tray. So she's like picking the ice off the floor and putting it back in the tray, right? And then she stands up and she puts the ice back in the freezer, and then turns around and goes, "Oh, hey, Michael, do you want me to get you something?" And I would be like, "Ew, get that ice out of there." And Michael's all like, "What? Oh, no, I thought I heard a noise." And she's like, "Oh, no, just me being clumsy." He saw her pick that ice off the floor. Like, why did he not say nothing? Anyway, I thought that was funny. Alright, you guys, so that was my review of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Or as Julianne Moore says,
the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world.
They should have rolled credits when she said that. Alright, you guys, do you remember this movie? It's... I keep saying it, but it's really good. Like, I was at the edge of my chair, like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Oh my god, it's crazy. Yeah. And for no reason at all, here's another picture of Ernie Hudson. Alright, you guys, so if I had to rate The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, you know what? It gets a good solid 3. 3 out of 5 shots. Yay! So I'm going to take 2 of these shots, and we are working with brown liquor today, y'all, because it's a special day. It's your day, mother. I didn't write that song, so that's why it's bad. All right, you guys, so cheers. Ugh. Oh, Fifa's awful. It don't taste good. God. Alright, here we go. Oh my god. Ugh. 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 Oh my god. Ooh. Okay. Alright. That was good stuff. Ooh, I can't see. Alright, you guys. So let me know. Wait. Let me know in the comments below if you have seen. Why are you watching me and judging me? Get out. What was I saying? What? So, let me know if you've seen The Hand That Rocks the Cradle in the comments below. My throat is burning. Okay, so I will see you all in the next video. So until then, TTFN.